You're about to witness a seismic event. Now, let the party begin.
Your healthy radio addiction starts now.
Hollywood's Motorcycle Madhouse on iHeartRadio.
And welcome everyone to the show. We got breaking news out there. The jury came back with the order that the Mongols should turn in their patches, forfeit it more, precisely. And right now, everybody is going crazy on the internet, finding out what's going on. But this was only the second step in taking away the patches. This does not mean that they lose their patches. They still got to go through the court. On the 28th, the judge set up the court date to see if it's constitutional, which, sorry, I don't believe it is. But, the jury came back at the Mongols should forfeit their patch. So now we're going to see just how exactly that our country is when you got to regulate people with logos and stuff like that. But out of the New York Times right now, I just got this. And it came out of Santa Ana, California, but it's by the New York Times. For its members, the Motorcycle Club's logo is both sacred and hard-earned, the banner under which its brand of rugged brotherhood and individualism exists. But in a setback to the future of one of the country's most notorious biker groups, a federal jury in Cali on Friday found that the Mongols Motorcycle Club must forfeit its rights to the trademark Genghis Khan style emblem that identifies the organization. The jury's verdict, which concluded the second phase of a wide-ranging 8-week racketeering trial in which jurors also branded the Mongols a criminal enterprise, was not the final word. Remember that. It is not the final word. The group's lawyers have filed a motion for a judgment of acquittal. And the presiding judge, who in the past has ruled in the favor of Mongols, said he would not immediately sign an order of forfeiture until he has a chance to consider the motion. Oh, here we go. We already got the phone ringing. Don't be ringing the phones yet. He will not immediately sign the order until he has a chance to consider the motion and the club's constitutional rights. So we're moving into the constitutional rights phase to free speech. And that was David O'Carter, who is scheduled a hearing for the 28th. Let's see here. I'm just going to breeze through this article a little bit. Let's see here. We got one by Mr. Stubbs, and that's one of the Mongols' attorneys, and he does make a good point on it. Friday's verdict confounded the Mongols' members and their lawyers. Listen to this closely. The club's general counsel described the outcome as very strange because the jury did not find the logo forfeitable on the count of racketeering. Now, that's real important, on the count of racketeering. But it did on the conspiracy count. And he goes on to say, how can we make sense out of that? Adding that it appeared to be a compromise verdict, one agreed upon so the jury could go home after a long days of deliberations. So basically what happened is there was jurors on one side of the issue and another side of the issue. They compromised so they could go home and drink a beer, basically, is what happened. So when you hear that juries have a constitutional right, the patriotic movement, to do their job, no, they're willing to compromise on a verdict, especially something this tremendously important. It's real important right now. And he goes on to say, we continue to fight so that Americans can't be banned by the government for wearing symbols. And that is what it is coming down to. another attorney out of Las Vegas, quote, as saying in this article that other clubs are now liable and in danger of being targeted, trampled on, and dismantled. So, we talked a little bit about it yesterday with the sources, big Cavs and stuff like that, about supporters going around saying, well, screw this club or screw that club, or specifically screw the Mongols, it's all them fault, blah, blah, blah. Well, now, if this goes through, your club could be in some shit water. Let me tell you, it can be in some shit water. And like I said, the 28th is really gonna determine what's going on with the case. Hey, let me say hi to everybody in there real quick. I know I went up. Dave, how you doing? Jake, Danny, King, how you doing? First time in here. Jake, John, Southside Patriot, and Trippy, how you doing? Ironhead, how you doing, Ironhead? But that's what we got going on right now, man. Terrible stuff going on. Hello, did we go off air? Yeah, we kind of went off air for a minute there for a second. We got a bad storm going on in well, our stream got cut off, and maybe the feds are going on there or something like that. But yeah, our stream was cut off. Sorry about that, guys. And we're now resumed. It looked like the weather up here in Illinois is not that great right now. So, but unconstitutional Southwood Patriot Dominic, how you doing, buddy? Sorry for the little break in there with that, but oh my God, holy shit, cold and wet in East Texas. I'd rather be in East Texas right now than where I am, but it's freezing out there. So that's what's going on with the Mongol case right now. We got to wait until the 28th to find out the judge's ruling. One good thing about it is he did rule in favor of the Mongols the first time around, but it was up to the Ninth Circus Court to throw it back down and shit like that. Wonder if the feds have caught onto this show yet. Let me tell you, Dave, they ain't too happy with this show out there. I get all kinds of hit on Insane Throttle Biker News. They hate my freaking guts, let me tell you. But another subject I wanted to cover today, and I'll actually let you guys start calling in, is how the media covers motorcycle clubs and bikers in general, and the perception that the public has. And I seen an article yesterday. It came out of the Tampa Bay Times, and it was nothing more than a hit piece. It was a hit piece, I'm telling you. You'll actually see it tomorrow on Insane Throttle. I actually do an editorial on this one. But this one had to do with the Outlaws MC. And the title of their hit piece, as I call it, was an Outlaws Motorcycle Club leader's assassination adds to Tampa Bay's bloody biker gang history bullshit. And what they did was take a couple incidences and throw it all together. Now, this dumbass reporter went all the way to 1970. Went all the way back to 1970 for her report, and threw that in there, and it was a total hit piece. I couldn't believe it. And this broad, actually in the middle of the article, put in there 2015 Waco. Now, I'm going to read it exactly the way she put it. Let's see here. In 2015, a violent shootout between at least 6 gangs in Waco, Texas, left 9 bikers dead in a strip mall parking lot and resulted in the arrest of 177 members. The slayings prompted Tampa Bay Times criminal justice reporter Dan Sullivan to investigate motorcycle gang culture in Tampa Bay. He found that biker gangs are still dangerous and widespread in Florida, though the gangs became more secretive after all the public attention they received in the previous decades. An expert on biker gangs estimated that Florida had 8 to 1,000 members. Many have jobs from operating strip clubs to practicing medicine or law. That was in the middle of that article. And people wonder why the American people do not trust the mainstream press. Now, a regular citizen going through this article wouldn't know any damn different of what happened in 2015. All they would see is, oh, well, they're writing about the Outlaws or the AOA, so they must be one of these 6 gangs in Waco, Texas, that everybody knows they're not there. But this is what the media does. They do it for sensationalism. They do it to make money. That is what it is. It's actually sickening the way this article was written, I encourage you to actually look at the editorial I do tomorrow on Insane Throttle Biker News, and it goes through the whole thing piece by piece on how it was laid out. Now, that being with the mainstream media. Now, are bikers or members of motorcycle clubs, are they innocent? Are they Boy Scouts? Any of that crap? No, they're not. And I have to say, after, what the Mongols are going through in California, and this ain't none of my business because I don't wear a patch. I'm independent, I do me, but I am an advocate for motorcycle clubs. But the biggest thing they might want to do is keep the shit down, man. Keep it under the radar. Keep it out of the open, because the media these days, they're going to do whatever they can do to sell a newspaper or sell, their channel or their ads or whatever like that. So, with that in mind, if you do read the article, and I'm going back, I'm swinging back around here, it was a cop could have written the article. So, with that in mind, a regular civilian who serves on a jury and votes these idiots that make the laws, see this, it rubs them bad. It really does. And, nothing against California or anything. We know it's like a whole separate country, and it kind of sucks that this case was in California, but they believe in big government out there. What is it, 90%? Hold on, we got a call. You're on air, man, from Oregon. How you doing? Well, I guess he didn't want to talk to me. But anyway, you made me lose my train of thought, Oregon. Call back. But anyway, California, what is it, like 80% out there are like hard extremist left or some shit like that? So it wasn't the best place to have the trial in. But hey, how you doing, Lori? How you doing, honey? Mr. Perfect, how you doing? Hey, Sinister, what's up there, Sinister John? Hey, somebody give a call in and let me know your thoughts on what's going on with this Mongols patch case and the way bikers are perceived in the media. So, Hollywood, are you saying you don't vote? You know what? I am an independent and I vote my, that's how can you say it, conscience, and I'm usually with the libertarian, libertarian candidates and stuff like that, because Republicans, Democrats, most of them are bought for, they're bought. You're on air.
Hey, what's up, Hollywood? This is Todd Rudolph, man. Call me Junior.
Junior, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Not bad, man. I've been watching your show for a little while now. Just want to tell you that I appreciate what you're doing for the Mongols and for bikers in general. I don't ride, nor do I wear a patch, but respect for you guys, man.
I really appreciate it, man.
No problem. Yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a call and let you guys know how much that I support y'all and how much I thank you for opening eyes to just the biker community. You know what I mean? Everybody's judged. I get judged by walking down the street with my pit bull and my support black and white shirt, and I get fucking judged just from wearing a support shirt. Not even just riding a bike. You know what I mean?
Right. I can understand that, man. Anybody with tattoos or anybody that looks like a biker and so on, and you're going to get judged, trust me.
And it's not, and just like I've tried to explain to people, you know what I mean? The motorcycle club world is not like Sons of Anarchy. Everybody gets this fucking image of Sons of Anarchy and gangland and all this fucking bullshit. It's retarded. You know what I mean? The bikers that I grew up with, man, they're fucking helping the community. I remember going down to the clubhouse down in Southern Illinois, and I remember going to the clubhouse when I was a kid, and they're having cookouts and everything. You know what I mean? And
right.
People portray this image as just some badasses that sell dope and shit. Fuck, man, go to Chicago Southside.
Exactly, man. Rock and roll. I appreciate you calling in, man, and giving your 2 cents and for your support of the show. You're awesome, man. Rock on.
Right on, buddy. I'm gonna continue watching these comments and watching this video, man. Thank you.
Awesome, buddy. I'll talk to you later. We had somebody from Wisconsin calling in. Go ahead, Wisconsin. You can call in. The phone is open. Joe, it sucks. There are too many people who are blind. Oh, you got that right in America. Let me tell you. I'm not perfect. No, am I? Sinister, how you doing, buddy? But go ahead and call in, guys. We'll keep it going there. I kind of got thrown off with the subject with the breaking news tonight. I had this whole thing ready to go, and this came up, and boom, we had to hit it. So that's my side, south side. I'm a north sider, but we still get along. You're on air, Callie.
Hey, what's up, brother? I'm actually in Texas right now.
Oh, you're in Texas. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, Leatherneck Dozer from Leatherneck, Texas, brother.
Oh, rock and roll, man.
So, yeah, bad. So, I just see, okay, so you got a lot of MS-13 gang members rolling around with tattoos on their face. So, what are they going to do? How are they going to get that off their cheek if they pop a logo on their body like that?
Well, you know what? That has to be brought up in these arguments on the 28th, I would assume, because a lot of the guys have the logo on their bodies. So what are you going to do? Pull them over and cut them off?
Exactly. So also, but yeah, like the other guy, how the caller was saying, dude, if people only knew what the motorcycle community does for their community specific. I was, just recently we had Wild West Motorcycle Club out here in Texas. Donated $129,000 this past year to wounded veterans.
Hey, we actually covered that story on Insane Throttle Biker News, man. That was kick ass, man. 130 G's, man, almost.
So, and the past 5 years, it was basically $250,000 raised for that specific organization that benefits all them wounded veterans, man. But I'm just saying. So, for all the general public out there that thinks, see a motorcycle rider riding down the freeway in your neighborhood, that they're a bad person because they got a logo on their back, or they're a mass number of guys riding together. But it's all brotherhood, man.
Right. Hey, now, you have a California number, but you're in Texas now, man. Did you live in Cali?
Yeah, I lived in Cali, but I moved to Texas way back in 2007.
Oh, I don't blame you, man. Now, what is going on out in California, my man?
I had to get the fuck out of there.
What is going on in California with the way they think out there, man? It's like foreign to us over here in the Midwest.
Just a bunch of liberals, bro.
I would have never guessed a California jury that would rule this way. Usually, what am I saying? They're always for the government out there.
Yeah, and like you said before, man, motorcycle clubs are like the biggest supporters in their community, man. They put out all the money at all the bars, and every time there's rallies and all that shit going on, like we keep these cities up. honestly, if it, if it comes down to like that.
Well, yeah, it's a proven fact that if you have a motorcycle club move into your area or whatever, the crime drops right away. And what's that pissing the cops off?
Yeah.
Does that piss the cops off that the clubs are taking care of business where they can't? Oh, I lost you. Okay, there you're back.
No, you're good. Yeah.
Yeah, we're having all kinds of freaking problems today, man, with the weather up here in Illinois and stuff like that. What made you move to Texas? I'd like to know that.
Oh, it was just the people. I think it was just more friendly environment, cheaper. Everything was cheaper too to begin with. So getting out the military was a big change.
Right.
To be like, I need to go somewhere I can afford to live, like right out the bat.
Rock and roll, man. Well, I appreciate you calling in, my man.
Oh, yeah. Hey, man, y'all take care.
Rock and roll. You're on air.
Hey, Howard. This is Carla from Wisconsin, and, I'm a chick, so I'm not a biker. I'm not a member, a PAX member of a MC, but this whole thing just pisses me off to no end because look at it, break it down like an attorney would. You got that ton of PAX that's basically their mascot, their logo. I mean, what are they going to do next? They're going to hit up all the high schools, colleges, pro football, pro basketball, and take away everyone's mascot? I mean, seriously.
Well, you know what? This I think extends beyond motorcycle clubs. This is so dangerous for the general public and the ignorance that a lot of people show, especially, what I would say to those in the jury room. Was that beer or that dinner or was the rush to get out of the jury room worth it? Because you know what? It could happen to you next.
Yep. And anything, any organization. I mean, what are we going to start taking stuff away? I mean, bikers don't see that as their mascot, like, a football team or something with it. Pretty soon it's going to hit every kind of person in every kind of way and every kind of organization. Companies have logos and mascots and things. I mean, it's not just bikers.
Exactly. And, I hopefully this judge, with his hesitation that he wasn't automatically going to sign the forfeiture order, is going to take his time. And, that's why it's the 28th. That's over a month and a week away to actually take a look at this.
Yeah, I hope it turns out right in the end. So that's my 2 cents. So thank you for taking my call and puff pass, baby.
Puff pass, honey. I really appreciate you calling into the show. I really do.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love it tonight. We're getting all kinds of great call-ins. And, hey, you ladies out there, you can call in anytime you want. You don't have to be a member of a club or anything like that, or even a biker. Just call, say hi to Hollywood. We puff passing out here. Let's see here. Damn right. You're goddamn right it was, man. It's 20 degrees. 27 in Michigan, Ironhead. Holy cow, screw that. I think it's, about 30, 35 here. But she has a real point there that this is going to affect other people. You got to remember, when case law is made, it's just not made for motorcycle clubs. Case law has to do with everybody in this country. So that's what's dangerous about that. And that's why you have to be disappointed in this jury, because how the hell do you rule that they're not guilty on the racketeering charge, but on the conspiracy charge? That is all messed up. And I see where the attorneys are going with that as far as being confusing, because it is. Because it seems like all they wanted to do was get out. And just to take a day or two for a monumental decision is crazy. It's nuts. What are they doing? But what else we got going on out there? The bad part is every state will use this case as a precedent in order to go after the clubs. You're damn right, Joe. That's what's going to happen here. It went from It's just like the RICO law. We've been talking about that, this past week. That was originally intended in the 1970s to go after organized crime as, such as the outfit or the mafia is what they're called. You're on air from Nevada.
No, I'm not in Nevada, James.
Oh,
I'm in Florida.
Oh, you're in Florida. How you doing, Florida? You came up Nevada.
That I have reasons for that.
Oh, okay. What's up?
You know who this is?
Who's it, Ant?
Yep.
I know who you are. Come on, man. Give me a break. What's up, honey?
Oh, you just said a few things that got my hackles up.
Oh, what did I say now?
No, seriously.
I always get everybody's hackles up.
You wish. No, seriously, though. Come on. This is not a perfect world. So you can't be blaming it all on one or the other. Everybody's got some responsibility in this act.
What you mean? Go ahead and, compound up.
In this political bullshit we're going through right now.
Oh, my God, with the politics. They suck right now. This country, you know what? And it's funny, a lot of people, I know you asked me about my political stuff. I actually used to be a Blue Dog Democrat. And Blue Dogs are, they're a little more on the conservative side, but they're, as you would say today, where Kennedy was. And I left that party because it went so far left and got away from the middle, because when it was all Blue Dogs and stuff like that, that's when, because I'm from a union family and stuff like that, it was take care of the middle class. Now both parties, Republicans and Democrats, they're out there, man. They're all for the rich, if you ask me.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of truth to that. There are a lot of corporate politicians, and we need to start swinging in the opposite direction again.
Yeah, well, we got to get people. We got to really get people out there to, get involved. The civics ain't even, taught in schools hardly anymore.
Of course. Oh, jeez. So fucked up. No. My biggest thing is that you lay your shit down on one side of the path and totally ignore the shit that's on the other side.
What you mean by that?
You're not being objective. Like there's only one side that's doing all the wrong shit. I've never been to California. I don't think I want to go to California.
I wouldn't.
But I do understand what they're doing. They're trying to level the playing field.
What do you mean?
And as far as the clubs, the way bikers are perceived, one or two on the road or walking down the street, it's no big deal. It's when you start seeing groups, and I'm talking like 7, 12, 15, 18, 30 of them, that kind of intimidates people. And you got to blame Hollywood, not you, Hollywood, but Hollywood, California, for the image that has been developed.
Well, yeah, exactly. Hollywood doesn't do anybody any favors in this country.
No, they don't, except for making money.
Right.
And, it's all well and fine, but between television and the big screen, people have got this preconceived notion, and they don't know any better because they're living in their Wonder White bread world.
Well, yeah, I understand where you're coming from on that. And like I say earlier, clubs ain't Boy Scouts, but need to get it together after this one, man, because this is actually a pretty big wake-up call.
Oh, this is serious. Did you by any chance listen to my last walk?
No, I haven't got to that one. I had been freaking busy. I had freaking some medical stuff.
Yeah, I made a couple of points on there that would give you some food for thought. There's more than one way to contribute to the community.
Rock and roll. Well, I appreciate you calling in, Aunt. I love you to death. You're my girl.
Yeah, sure you do. I already own swampland.
I love Swampland. What's with that? You know what? My favorite show is Swamp People. But anyway, I got to take the next call, and we're getting hit real hard with the phone calls tonight, so I really appreciate you.
Okay.
Bye.
Be well.
You too, honey. Go ahead and call in, Idaho. Frank, I guess my questions scare you? No, questions don't scare me, buddy. Go ahead and call in. Captain, how you doing, buddy? Hey, I'm White Bread. Rock and roll. I thought you and Wood were tight, New York. Where's New York at? You're on air.
Yeah, you're calling out here from the Northwest.
Northwest, Idaho?
Yes, sir.
Okay, come off the speaker, man. I can't hear you that good.
Oh, can you hear me now?
A little better, yeah.
We have a club out here, a 1%er club.
Oh, I hear you perfect now, man.
They just beat their RICO case. Brother Speed did out here in Idaho. As far as Mongols, Doc Cavasco really screwed them up with going on TV and doing their little show and showing how he brought in the gang members, the MS-13 and the South Side and bringing all them on. Didn't help them out much at all.
Well, I agree totally on that point. Watching that, we actually did, earlier this week, I think it was, something on that Gangland review. And, even though I don't, the way they went about it, hey, that's their business. It is what it is. But that's in a public forum where you got a lot of eyes. And I think they actually played that shit at the trial. But you just can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, they're right on there admitting, they're saying, yeah, we had to get our numbers up. So
right.
we when you're right there admitting it and talking on TV and doing it, doesn't help them out too much. But I got some brothers up here that are black and white, and I feel bad. It's horrible. But that's California for you, and that's what they're all they're doing on everything in the world these days, is causing a lot of drama.
Exactly, man. And like Ann said, man, Hollywood ain't helping us. But hey, we have to look at it from the point of view that, yeah, Hollywood's got one aspect out there. They basing everything on the past. Like this article I actually did an editorial on. They base shit that happened in the 1970s. Clubs have really evolved since then and know that there's so much technology out there that what you used to do back then can't happen now. So, but that's what they're going to use. They're going to use propaganda, and they'll use stuff in the past against clubs, and that's the way they sell shit.
Right on, Hollywood. I just wanted to tell you about Brother Speed out here, Black and Gold. They beat their cases, so there's still help for.
When was that? When was that case?
It's a couple years ago, but they moved their whole mother chapter from Boise, Idaho, to Portland, and then beat the whole RICO case. So that's something to think about. That people are still winning the cases, but they didn't go on TV and brag about and let the Lisa Lang and bring everybody in and showing how they recruited, little gangsters.
Now, where do you think? You sound like you're intelligent and stuff like that. Where do you think this is going on the 28th?
I think it's going. They're going to lose all the way around. They promote a lot of the old the gangster stuff more than any other club. And that, just going on TV, their YouTube videos, the stuff that they do, they promote it too much, and I think that they're going to lose all the way around. That's kind of how they promote themselves, where other clubs are not promoting themselves that way. Motorcycle Club is a club, but they teeter-totter a little too much on the Southside gangster, a little too much.
So you don't
growing up in California, and I have brothers here.
So you don't think that they're going to win on the 3rd and they're going to have to go through appeals?
No, I think they're going to lose all the way around. That they're in the most Californians hate. I mean, like you said to the gal calling in, they're 90% liberal over there. They're going to go against them any way they shape, form. They cry over anything. They'll sue anybody for anything. Everybody knows that.
You know?
Right. Now, no, I'm not talking just Cali, but I'm talking going through the appeals and going all the way. You think this is going to get to the Supreme Court? And do you agree?
No.
Do you agree that this just don't have, once precedent's set, this just don't have to do with a motorcycle club? It could be everybody.
No, it doesn't. I mean, everybody's stereotyped. And, I don't know where it's going to stop. This whole world. I mean, we bash our presidents. We bash anything on TV. Everything is a damn reality show. There is no respect, honor in this country at all. So, I mean, it's not going to stop with the clubs. It's not going to stop with having tattoos. Back in the day, it used to be long hair. They would go after you for having long hair if you're a man. So whatever you do to look different, they're going to come after you. But it seems to be more these days, and social media doesn't help. And social media did not help them having that Lisa Lane and being on Gangland. Right. It wasn't Motorcycle Land or Club Land or anything else. It was called Gangland.
Right. Well, you know what? It is sad that a lot of our citizens out there, they don't take their civic duties to heart. It's all about me instead of a country in general. And it's starting to show, man. It really is how this country's operating, the way people think about it and how they look at themselves as Americans. Right now it's not America, man. It's either you're red or you're blue. So the good old days seems like it's gone.
Yeah, but there's still, like I said, Black and Gold out here where they pretty good sized club and they won. So if you're not advertising and you're having respect and doing everything like a club should do, you can beat a case. You can beat a case, but the problem is now is the government wants to set precedent with this case. Now, if they get this, they can go after anybody, any club, even the ones that beat their RICO case. Yeah, but this isn't. I mean, a lot of people are thinking this is the first RICO case. Is that one of the reasons why I tried to call in is to let you know that there is other clubs and other people have beat cases. These guys just promoted too much and admitted on TV way too many times that they recruited MS-13 people in the club. You know what I mean? And that hurt the social media.
Mm. What program was that on as far as MS-13?
The Lisa Lang
show. Oh,
yeah, where Doc Cabasso, where they have Doc Cabasso walking around and he's talking about, he's up there recruiting them. They didn't even have to have bikes. They didn't even own motorcycles. And I'm from Southern California, moved up here, but they didn't even have to have a bike to join the club. They were just getting numbers up. All he cared about was making his money. He didn't care about nothing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's just that guy was a horrible person, and he ruined that club.
He turned out to be a rat, man. He was all about he was all about the attention and shit like that. But when it came down to everything coming to a head, man, that's the reason why this is all happening, because he signed the rights away to something that he didn't own.
Yep, you need to be like Big Cavs says, quit bumping the damn gums so damn much, Stay off the damn TV. Facebook.
I totally agree, man.
If you want to watch biker news and you want to do stuff, watch your channel. There ain't no reason to make go on with Lisa Lang and doing all that kind of shit. Gangland, Motorcycle Club shouldn't even be on the. I wouldn't even. You should have never even signed up to a TV show or anything called Gangland, or even let them post them on it.
Well, rock on, man. I really appreciate you calling in, man.
My phone's breaking up, real. Got a lot of respect for you, and my phone's breaking up, so we'll talk to you later.
Rock on, man. Man, a lot of phone calls coming in tonight talking all about all kinds of subjects. It is awesome. You guys getting involved in stuff like that. I've got another one coming in right now. Well, you're on air.
Hollywood, how you doing?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Listen, I just want to say, it looks like these guys are going down. They got 2 strikes against them. That ain't good. And I don't really want to blame what's going down because, callers have said there's a lot of gang members going to that club and doing their own crazy shit. But with that aside, and with the government going against the other clubs, if this comes down, on the other side of the story, what do you think the club's response are going to be, and how are they going to change themselves and evolve into withstanding what's going on against them with the government if they are found guilty? And all clubs can be, you know what I mean, taken up on the same charges. What do you think the clubs are going to circle around and do to take care of themselves after this is going down?
Well, you know what, Frank? You bring up a lot of good points right there. And the first one is maybe you better get this shit together and get out of the public eye. I remember when it used to be you did not do nothing fucking in the public eye, man. You didn't do nothing on Facebook or social media. You didn't go on the news, any of that stuff. You stayed out of it, and, you know, you were left alone. But, yeah, things are going to have to change. Like I said, I'm an independent. You're an independent. Most of the people on here are independents. And, you know, but those who have a stake in the game, they got to wake up, man, if you ask me, and, you know, try to pull this shit together. I've always said that Luciano, now I'm going on a different thing here, but Lucky Luciano out of New York, he had the best idea out of everything, and he made the commission.
That's right.
He knew that all the killing, all the fighting, you won't be able to make any money. You're going to have feds all over your ass, and you're going to have the government on you. So you make the commission up, you don't fight, and you settle everything at a table. Personally, you know what? Maybe the clubs might want to think about getting smart and doing something like that and getting a commission going. You know, put all the bullshit in the past away and get a commission together and go from there.
That's it. I think that's what's going to happen, because after what's going on with these guys in California, it's going to only be a matter of time before it travels down to one of the top 5 clubs here or a number 2 club there, and pretty soon they're trying to knock down everybody. And that's what's going to happen. But after this going down here with these guys in California, I think these, you know, the rest of the clubs got to come together and form an alliance. And, you know, just like you said, with the mafioso, form a commission. Nobody has to get along with everybody all the time, because nobody does get along with everybody. But form a friendship, come together, and you know what you have to do to survive.
Well, exactly.
That's what I think.
You know, this one right here, and, you know, who's the biggest one the government's going to hit next? And I guarantee everybody out there knows the ones that they're going to go after next. And,
right.
You know, because that trademark right there has some money behind it. And you better start worrying, because this ain't no joke. Now, we can go out there as independents and support clubs, but it's ultimately up to the clubs to make this shit work. You know, me being, you know, an advocate for clubs, I can only say, you know, so much on that.
It only goes so far. It only goes so far.
Right.
It's up to the club members to put their shit together. The men upstairs, the guys upstairs, contact each other. Put the differences aside, what happened 20 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever. Try to bury the hatchet, come together, and you know, form a circle and combat this. Come
well, you
together.
know what? If they ever formed a commission-like structure, they'd be unfreaking stoppable.
Yeah.
There would be nobody who could stop a commission of fucking the Big Five, man.
Exactly.
The numbers
unstoppable.
It's unreal.
Yes.
So,
all right, man.
Rock and roll, man. That was a good, you know, conversation right there, and a lot of you said makes a lot of sense.
All right. I'll talk to you next feed.
Rock and roll, man. That was, what do you guys think of that, man? You know, a lot of us are independents out there, and like I said, being a advocate for clubs, something like this could, I think they've already spent $1.3 million on this. Don't you think a commission-like structure, it might actually work out for him? It worked out for Lucky Luciano and the big boys and stuff like that. But Sinister, what's up, buddy? Too much bloodshed. And you know what? That's right. And if you look back at the 20s and 30s, man, where there's bloodshed, you give the freaking government no choice but to act. They didn't act in freaking Chicago. You're on air.
Hey, Hollywood. This is Spider.
Hey, what's up, Spider?
Not much, man. Sorry for a little bit of hiatus. I got a little bit of my high horse there. I had a couple of things that kind of ticked me a little bit. But
it happens, man. I tick a lot of people off.
It's not you. It wasn't you.
Oh, okay.
You had a conversation. You have a friend. You don't... there's a friend that I've known in trucking for a while. He's a guy that's got his own little thing going on. I'm not going to get into that. But he watches the show. He's the one that got me into watching you guys.
Right.
But because I'm an activist, and I have a very specific spot inside of me for this culture. My dad was a club member. I grew up in this lifestyle.
Exactly. And okay.
I got a weird story and a messed up life and a charmed life, and it's really weird. But due to that, I guess you could say I'm kind of book smart, but I'm a little bit more beyond that.
Right.
But what I'd like to say, but on this conversation, what I'd like to say is a lot of you guys are missing something. What you're looking at is you guys, and I'm not trying to be disparaging to anybody. This is low-hanging fruit to them. You don't understand that your enemies are well entrenched. They've been doing it for years. Mm-hmm. How the culture works and how it's been leaping around, it's really something to look at. But when you start looking at it as a total, they don't need to infiltrate anymore. They haven't infiltrated in, 20 years? That's because they have technology.
Right.
We're in a time right now in 2019 where we have micro nanotechnology, which is a thing to behold. It's weird. Mm-hmm. And they can have electronic surveillance that they don't even need to get inside the building. Right now in China, they just developed a lip reading program, computers teaching computers how to lip read. They said it was for the deaf. Now they can lip read through technology miles away.
Man. Oh, hold on a second, Spider. I got to thank Long Rider and my Southern Belle. Thanks for the YouTube super chats, guys. That means a lot. Welcome to the show, Christina. Thanks, Sinister. You're an awesome man. Puff, puff, pass. But go ahead, Spider.
When it comes to how the culture is working, when it gets into, basically education, these people are not dumb. They have their hands in everything. They're the ones that are changing the culture. You get into the universities, those are the generals. Mm-hmm. All these activists on their side, out there in the streets, out there getting people signed up, that are changing their minds, those are your enemies.
Well, I agree.
You guys really don't have the number.
Well, you know what? They got a lot. You know what they're doing is they're starting with our kids. They're starting to brainwash them in school.
Well, they did that to my children. I've had my own experience with this with my own children. Mm-hmm. Mine started with my children bringing home something from the Civil War, and I'm like, that ain't right. So I went and got an old encyclopedia, mm-hmm. Brought it out. Here you go. This is how you write your paper. Helped them do it. They said it there. They failed. I'm like, well, what? Mm-hmm. Comes back that they want it said their way. It was this. And it's like, well, that's a lot. Right. They don't care. And if you say something, well, then they use the system to say, well, if you don't do it, you're causing trouble. call the police. The police is there. You will do what you say, or we will punish you. That's how it works.
Right.
But when it comes to what you guys are doing, why did they do RICO? Well, because RICO's specific. They went to my brain's going so fast here.
You need to smoke some 420, man. That'll slow it down. It always does.
No. I can't because of my job. But
oh man,
I'd be slowed down so far I wouldn't even know where I'm at. But they're going to use the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act was one of the biggest things that they got through.
Oh, the Patriot Act, man, that should scare the shit out of everybody, that Patriot Act.
And it should. Look how broad sweeping it is. That's like the communications building that they built out there in Utah. I hauled steel in there. I'm a steel hauler.
Mm-hmm.
And
but where do what do you think their goal is as far as the Mongols case? What do you think their ultimate goal is?
Well, for one, is compliance.
Mm-hmm.
They want everybody to fall in line. It's compliance. And it's not going to be about trademarks, because they're not going to go after everybody. They're not going to go after Google. They're not going to go after Apple. They're going to get everybody to comply. If you are out of line, if you are out of sync, if you don't believe what they believe, they will push you. That's what I just, from education, you will conform, you will comply.
Well, I think they're going to have a real hard time with that with us bikers. I know I'm going to have a hard time with that, complying with them jacknuts.
It'll come down to cash. It's always about money. When it comes down to it, when they said, well, what are they going to do if you ink it on your body? Well, one is they'll tell you to black it out. Mm-hmm. And if you don't black it out, they will continue, and they will continue until they get their money. Look at what they've done to the most powerful men in the world. You talk about Hollywood, like California.
Mm-hmm.
The most powerful men in California, in Hollywood, they've been taken down. The most powerful men are forced to shut up. Think about that for a moment. If it was Hollywood, then why'd they shut all these powerful, rich men down?
Mm-hmm.
What about politics itself? Some of the most rich, powerful men being taken down.
Well, you know what? You got a big deep state, I can tell you that, man. I know what you're talking about there. But, people do got to look at it when you talk about the deep state, because if you step back and look at it objectively, now,
yes.
You have to step back and, you know what, you got to take your blinders off, say, okay, I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a liberal, I'm not a conservative, and actually look at the situation regarding 2016 and what they're doing right now. They're taking on Trump, okay? A lot of people don't like him, some do. I'm in the middle where he does some good stuff, and on the other hand, he's a jackass. But they're going after him hardcore because they didn't like the outcome, because he challenges the insider's way of thinking here. They got all this stuff out here, but it's been proven on the other side what this other, witch has done, but they're going to leave that alone because she's part of the establishment, and that should scare the shit out of everybody how our justice system really is. So if they don't like you, they're going to go after you. If they like you, you don't have to have nothing to worry about. That is not law. That is not blind.
Oh, no, it goes even weirder than that. Okay, you don't like him. How our politics works, it's revolving. It's constant revolving. This guy gets in, that guy gets in. This guy may get 2 terms, may not get 2 terms. What are you going to do when he ain't there no more?
Right.
Let's think about that for a moment. So, you don't like this guy. What happens when the next guy gets in?
Well, exactly.
Is he better? Is he worse?
But to swing around back to, the biker stuff and like that, I can have a conversation like this with you for hours. But when it comes to biker,
I know, I can do it too.
But when it comes to biker, the motorcycle clubs in general, I think everybody bears responsibility. People don't like seeing dudes shot up. Let me tell you, You look at Chicago, they call it Chirac right now. They really don't, and that can go into another subject where, depending where it happens in Chicago, they really don't give a shit. But,
if you're going to do Chicago, look at it this way. If you don't like the cops, and the cops pull back and they're no longer policing, this is what you get.
Right. Well,
So, like I said, I can have weird conversations.
Oh, we can go on and on this one, but I got to swing it around again, Spider, to the club stuff.
Well, I get that, but I just was getting ready to say, because my dad was in the clubs. The cops killed my dad when I was 11 years old in front of me. So if you want to talk about, that kind of stuff, I can. But how the club, as far as the clubs go, if the clubs don't consolidate, if the clubs don't get themselves in order, you look what, you spoke Luciano. What about, I had it. Chicago man himself, big man.
Who, Tuna?
No, back in those days.
Yeah, you're talking about Big Tuna, man, or, you talking about Capone.
Capone. Okay, Capone had a set of rules. He won over the people. No matter what they tried to do to Capone, they could never get him. Why? Because the people loved him. And how did he win those people? Well, for one, he didn't hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
Two, he works with them. They needed something to help. Community outreach.
Well, yeah, he had more soup kitchens. He had more soup kitchens going than the damn freaking government did.
He's the one that did milk pasteurization.
Right.
So you ask the clubs themselves. You look right in the face and say, "What are you doing for community outreach? What is your goodwill?" Because if the people don't like you, and this is how they're winning, the people don't like you.
Yeah, you got to win. It comes down to winning their hearts and minds. It's what's going to come down to. And it used to be, and I still think it is, man. When a clubhouse goes into a neighborhood, it's a safer thing. But the youngsters coming out, don't have.
That was a long time ago. We're talking now, man. Forget the past. We could talk to you. Okay, here's one. Mr. Barger himself. When I was a kid, when he was talking about sending dudes to Vietnam, a reporter sat down and asked him, said, "Well, why would you do that?" He went into a patriotic tirade. And it was one of the most coolest things I ever heard as a little kid. And I'm like, well, that makes you right there want to be an American.
Right.
I mean, exactly. it was literally, the American people heard that and went, yeah. When the Angels went in there to go talk to the dude that wrote that book about him, I don't remember that dude's name. But when they went into the studio on his motorcycle, and was sitting there talking shit to the dude, you heard the audience, the people, they panned to the audience. They were smiling, they were laughing, and they were clapping for him. Because they had the heart. They knew, hey, they are what they are, but they don't bother us.
Right. Well, that's something
the bloody 80s, you know what? Called the bloody 80s for a reason.
Right. Well, yeah, I remember the bloody 80s.
Dude, you talk about the wheelman. I know wheelman. Still know him to this day. Yeah. I got people. I've been around for a while, man. I'm just not. That's what bugs me when I'm trying to talk to people. Sometimes they think I'm just some dude. No, I got history, man.
Rock and roll, man. Well, I don't think it that way, man.
No, but it's like on Facebook. That's what ticked me off. I was sitting there trying to start a conversation. Some dude was like, "Yeah, you need to be killed." I was like, "What?"
Well, you know what? When it comes to Facebook, with Facebook, you have all kinds of haters, and don't let them get to you. Me, I get 200 to 300 hate mails a day. Don't worry about it, man. I'm in the same boat.
Well, it wasn't even that so much as he was a supporter of a club, and he was flying their battle flag, and I'm like, okay, I'm not even dealing with this, man.
Right, rock on. Well, that's a conversation that we and Kaz actually had. Is these idiots out there flying the banners of one club or another, starting bullshit. But it all comes down. It comes down to it, Spider. Don't let the idiots get to you. It just.
Well, that's what my buddy said.
That's the way it is. But
that's what my buddy said. But
I got to get moving on with the show, Spider. I really appreciate you calling in. Hey, I'm actually going to be over in St. Charles over at the
run. Yeah, I got to go look for parts myself. My Triumph's done.
Rock and roll, man. I hope to see you there.
All right, bro.
All right, buddy. And that was Spider. I really like Spider, man. He's a real cool dude. And Sinister, how you doing, my man? You got all kinds of shit coming at me, don't you? But I really appreciate everybody calling in, talking about the subject. And so, yeah, that's what we got going on right now. That's breaking news. And we are on WhatsApp, too. I forgot to tell you that. WhatsApp, we're under Motorcycle Madhouse. I appreciate all the I got tongue-tied. I got to smoke a joint. Super chat, all the super chats. Thanks for that. Also, if you can't super chat, you got the streamelements.com right there in the description box. But with that, I will see you Monday if you guys have any questions. And yeah, if you know what, I get like a couple hundred emails a day and a lot of phone calls. So if I haven't returned them on you, I'm getting hit hard, so I'll get there the best I can, but I really appreciate all the support that you guys give the show, and you guys rock on, go out there, smoke you some 420, and go out. It's Friday night, man. What are you listening to me for, man? Get out there, go party, have some fun, go have a lot of sex, but I'll talk to you guys on Monday.
All right.